Welcome to the Move the Stairs podcast. This is episode 96. Man, we're closing in on 100. I'm pretty excited. We are recording on June 6th, 2024, and we are so happy that you are joining us. We have a fantastic conversation for you.
We do indeed. Imagine doctors and nurses without the resources to do their jobs, whole communities without access to basic healthcare, and people needlessly dying without any hope.
And then imagine a hospital with trained medical staff, but lacking the necessities and bandages, or such as bandages or ibuprofen.
Well, this is where Project C.U.R.E comes in. Project C.U.R.E is based in Denver, but they have outlets in 7 states. And Project C.U.R.E has grown into the world's largest distributor of donated medical relief.
It is a big operation. Today's guest is Meg McCann, who runs not 1, not 2, but 3 very critical programs for Project C.U.R.E. And we'll be asking her about her Move the Stairs moment today.
So without further ado, let's welcome Megan to the podcast. Thank you so much for being here. How are you today?
I'm great. Thank you.
Can you tell our listeners what it is that Project C.U.R.E does? You're a nonprofit. We know that. You could probably explain it a whole lot better than we did. We'd love to hear from you.
And thank you again for having me on Move the Stairs. I'm so excited to be here. Yeah, so Project C.U.R.E, which stands for the Commission on Urgent Relief and Equipment, is a nonprofit organization that's dedicated to delivering medical supplies, as you mentioned, and equipment to underserved communities around the world. By providing these essential tools and equipment to various healthcare facilities, hospitals, clinics, we do empower local healthcare workers and improve healthcare outcomes. And since 1987, we are the largest provider of donated medical supplies and equipment to developing countries, and we help to bridge that gap in healthcare disparities, and we really do make a tangible impact on global health.
What a fantastic mission you have, Meg. I mean, this is fantastic. And your title is Director of Kits, and there's like
That's right.
There are 3 different kinds of kits, right?
Yes. So as the Director of Kits, I oversee the creation and distribution of various specialized medical supply kits. And they're designed to address specific healthcare needs in these communities that we serve. And the first one is our C.U.R.E kits. So our C.U.R.E kits are basic medical supplies and emergency medical supplies that are tailored to meet the needs of folks in hospitals and clinics. And then our Kits for Kids is cute red bags, little drawstring bags that hold 13 different medicine cabinet items. And we call them medicine cabinet items because they're things that we can get at our local grocery store, at Target, at Walmart, wherever locally, and are incredibly hard to come by in other countries. And then the other kits are both midwife kits and we call them Merck and Mama Baby kits. We've partnered with Merck to create postpartum kits. And we also have midwife kits. So we help to deliver babies, and we help after baby is born, we help mama and baby.
Love that. That's
That's
great.
awesome. Yeah, and where would you get these supplies? Would they be donated by maybe hospitals? Would they be overages? Would you use funds that had been donated to buy bandages and things? How does that work?
Yes, all of the above. And so it just depends on the kit. Yeah. So when I put C.U.R.E kits together, I actually have an amazing team in several of our warehouses that put the C.U.R.E kits together, and anybody can take a C.U.R.E kit. You don't have to be a doctor, you don't have to be a nurse or anybody in the medical profession. It can be anybody. If you're traveling abroad, you can take a kit. And the kit is just under 50 pounds. And all of the items that are in those kits are donated to Project C.U.R.E. And so in several of our warehouses, we do have areas where we have kind of C.U.R.E kit area. And so if we need to assemble one quickly, we're able to do that with a packing list. And then when I do events for Kits for Kids, those come with a donation. And so with that donated money to Project C.U.R.E, I'm able to procure from Dollar Tree, dollar stores. I have a great relationship with Walmart, Target, wherever I can find the supplies that I need that are also within our budget. So yeah, they come from everywhere. Yeah.
I have a quick follow-up because as you say that, and I'm thinking 7 different cities, 3 kit programs,
Yeah.
That sounds like a lot of material, a lot of little medicine cabinet in a bag kind of items. How many of these kits might you distribute in a week or a month or a year?
Well, that's a great question. And to kind of piggyback off of the last question, I do get a lot of inquiries from high school students, which I find so heartwarming. These young kids who just have this heart to serve and want to serve their community. And they'll reach out to me and say, hey, you know, I'm part of this club or that club. And, you know, we want to be able to get supplies for your kids. And so that's one way to do it in a broad way, right? In various cities. But yeah, you know, it depends. So I've been with Project C.U.R.E now I'm going on my 8th month. So I'm fairly new-ish. And in the last, you know, eight-ish months, I've had about 15 events, right, for Kits for Kids. And those events yielded about 2,200 kits. And so it's my responsibility to get out there in the community, get events created, and to bring those kits back to the warehouse. And then my goal is to have at least 200 kits on every container that we send. And so just to give the audience a little, you know, an idea of what we do, our mainstay is filling 40-foot cargo containers with medical supplies and equipment. So half the container is medical supplies, the other half is large equipment. And we send 5 to 7 containers a week from last year we sent 170 containers.
That's
and
amazing.
So it's incredible. It's really incredible. So just to give the audience, you know, an idea, these kits then get packed in boxes and they get put on the back of the cargo containers, and they're delivered alongside those containers. And so my goal is to have at least 100 to 200 on each of those containers. So that's a lot of kits.
Yeah.
And so it's my responsibility to get out there in the community and get, you know, volunteers and to recruit folks who want to do kit events in order for these kits to be created.
That is just so much logistic. Like,
yeah, I'm working hard.
You know, I can only imagine, you know, with the number of kits that you're assembling, what are we talking about a scale for like volunteers here? I know you mentioned the high schoolers reaching out to you, and I imagine you may get some assistance from Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, that kind of thing too. But how do you do it all?
I'm telling you, here's how we do it. We have 34 employees and we have 30,000 volunteers.
Wow.
Like, do the math. Right? That's about 1,000 volunteers per employee that we have. And so we do without our amazing volunteers. And so, you know, the beauty of Project C.U.R.E really does lie in the incredible support that we receive. Right? And so these volunteers come from all walks of life. We have students, retirees, healthcare professionals, big community groups, corporations that come in. They're all united by that one common goal, and that's to make a positive impact on global health. And so their efforts are essential to our operations. You know, they allow us to efficiently and effectively deliver these critical supplies to those in need around the world. We really couldn't do it. We filled a container yesterday, and just to be in the warehouse and to feel the energy and the excitement, knowing that every single thing that our volunteers put their hands on is going to go across the world and change the world.
That's amazing. And so you can go and you can buy, I'm guessing there's a list on the website, you can buy things that you could donate, and then you could schedule with you, whether you're a family or a scout group or whatever, to maybe come in and pack for a day or maybe once a week. I mean, I'm sure you have people that do that all the time. I also heard you say that if you're going overseas, you can take kits too. How does that work?
Yeah, so absolutely. So you can go online and purchase a kit. So it's a donation of $250. The kit has about $2,000 worth of medical supplies in it. And you can come to the warehouse and grab it and take it on a flight. We keep it under 50 pounds on purpose so that, you know, anybody traveling with one can check it as luggage. And, or I can mail it to you anywhere in the United States. Absolutely. And then most of our Kits for Kids do go on the back of our containers.
Yep.
However, we have had some groups that know exactly where they're going, and they know that there's a clinic in need. I just had a lady from a church that was going to Guatemala who said, I know every single family that we're going to see. Is there any way I can bring Kits for Kids with me? And I said, absolutely. So she came and she had 2 duffel bags, filled those duffel bags with Kits for Kids, and handed them out when she was done in Guatemala doing a missions trip.
That's
Like a
wonderful.
network. Yeah, a network of people all over the world.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And everybody can get, I mean, families, schools, civic groups, they can all actively participate in building Kits for Kids. Like I said earlier, they can do drives. They can host an event. They can raise money. I have a few drives going on right now in Houston, and the young girl that is heading this up is just incredible. I mean, she comes from an incredible family. I had dinner with them when I was in Houston for a conference, and they're amazing. And her heart to serve it's enormous. And so she's not just enlisted her school, but also her community. Multiple churches and a mosque in Houston that are opening their arms to Project, allowing us to put bins in their lobbies so that folks can just come in and look at the list. It's a very specific list that we have. It's been vetted by doctors and pediatricians. And so those are the items that we need the most. And so, yeah, we can just put those anywhere, and they come in and fill those bins for us, and also offer monetary. I mean, our president, Doug Jackson, always says, there's 3 things that keep us going. It's volunteers, donations, and money, right? Those are the 3 things that we need to ensure that Project C.U.R.E can run and that we can help global healthcare.
Yeah, to keep the engine running. You know, Megan, we work with companies all the time to build customer loyalty, build their brand. Sometimes that comes with a bit of education that's needed to educate the public about what you do, why you do it, why it's important. So I'm curious, do you ever have people who come forward and say, hey, you're sending this stuff to 135 other countries. Why not help people in this country? And if you hear that, how do you handle that kind of question? What do you tell them?
That's a question we hear every day.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We hear it every single day. And while our primary focus is on national or international aid, Project C.U.R.E recognizes the importance of addressing local healthcare needs as well. And so through collaboration with local organizations and responding to domestic crisis when it's possible, we do strive to make a positive impact on healthcare outcomes, both globally and locally. And so, for us, it's that our mission is driven internationally. And so when we do get those types of questions, I also am quick to, provide folks with other organizations that do things, that help here in the States. But we do primarily work internationally. When COVID hit, we pivoted, right? And we were like, okay, we have all of these things. We have this material. We have PPE. Let's help locally. But, for the most part, we are completely international. Yeah.
Sure.
I think that's a great, kind of segue into where we're heading into next with this conversation. We talk about the Move the Stairs, podcast. And if you listen, our listeners who have listened all the way through and hear Diane kind of talk about this Move the Stairs story, it's really about overcoming an obstacle. And, I can only imagine working with 135 countries and thousands of volunteers. You must have a couple of stories where you have had to really make a significant change or a pivot, or make your turn your lemons into lemonade, so to speak. Can you share one or more with our listeners?
Absolutely. And I'll tell you, we've worked diligently since the war broke out in Ukraine, and more recently when the war broke out in Israel. And, during our efforts to deliver medical supplies to both Gaza and Ukraine, we encountered significant obstacles due to just geopolitical tensions and logistical challenges. Our logistics team is incredible. I mean, they are literally top notch. And despite these hurdles, through strategic partnerships, our advocacy efforts, and of course, creative problem solving, we successfully navigated customs, and we ensured timely delivery to not just healthcare workers, but facilities that were waiting on our equipment and our consumables. And getting into countries without tension and without war is difficult on its own, right? We have to get through customs, and there's so many moving parts from the time that somebody, initiates the conversation about a container until actually getting into country. Be up to 9 months and so you can imagine, like, because it takes that long, we have to work with so many partners and so many moving parts that go along with it. We have to be patient and we have to be diligent, right, and transparent with our partners in country who are waiting for these supplies. But yeah, getting stuff into Gaza was incredible. A few weeks ago, we had a meeting, kind of an all hands meeting, and our CEO, Doug Jackson, let us know that one of it was a container, but it was about 35 pallets that were sitting at the airport in Egypt for months and months and months waiting to get in. And it finally got in, and we had video of these pallets moving on to the trucks. And we cried. It's like those types of things that really show, like, every single person that comes in our warehouses and touches any of our supplies makes a difference in this world, and it's worth it. It was so difficult, and I know it was something that kept many of our staff up at night waiting for those supplies and just sitting there wondering what's going to happen to 35 pallets of much needed medical supplies, and it made it in the country. And that's why we do what we do.
I love that. And, that's really a mindset that you have to have, the move the stairs mindset, where you see a problem and you're just going to stick with it so you can figure it out and really make it work. Do you have something, an example personally about that?
That's such a great question. As I did think about this, something kind of personal actually kind of comes to mind. And that's, I didn't set out to be working for Project C.U.R.E, right? I mean, I've had kind of an expansive career, most of it in learning and development. And then I land this amazing position with Project C.U.R.E, and I meet all these amazing people. And over my career, I've learned a lot about myself, and I've learned a lot about, what I'm capable of. And I have to say, when I think about my move the stairs moment, I think of this time a few weeks ago. I was at a conference, and I was a gold sponsor. Project C.U.R.E was a gold sponsor at this conference. And, as a sponsor, it's kind of cool. You're kind of up in the front. And I was making my way around to the other exhibitors, and then made my way back to my table, talking to a lot of different people. And the VP of philanthropy from Walmart came up, and, I was kind of just sitting there minding my own business. And he said, hey, introduced himself. I introduced myself, and he said, tell me about Project C.U.R.E. So I took the time to tell him about Project C.U.R.E. And he noticed that on my table, I had a Ziploc bag that had all of the items that are in Kits for Kids kind of displayed. Normally they're in the red sack, so you can't see what's in it. Right. So I had it out, and he picks it up, and he's kind of, looking at it. And I said, everything that's in that bag is sold at Walmart. And he said, yeah, I see that. And I said, wouldn't it be really cool if we can expand our partnership? And because we partnered them in a few other things, they help carry loads and things like that for us. And he said, absolutely. And I said, are you serious? And he said, yeah, absolutely. And it was a moment that I will always remember, because former Megan, or Megan a few years ago, would never have had the courage to do something like that. And I feel like just making that, notion, like, oh, hey, by the way, all of these things happen to be sold at Walmart. What do you say? You're a great organization. We're a great organization. You love the planet. We love the planet, right? We have a lot of alignment in our missions and our values. And it's just something that I never would have done for fear of rejection, or, out of shyness. But it wasn't. I was bold, and I was courageous, and it landed me an awesome opportunity to partner with a huge organization that supports Project C.U.R.E on a number of levels, but now also will be supplying a good portion of our Kits for Kids items, which is huge. It's a huge impact. So while it's not like some grandiose story about getting into a country or doing anything like that, it was something that was monumental to me, right? Because I realized the growth that I had. Like, oh, wow, look at I can do this.
Yeah.
And look what it did, like just kind of stepping outside my comfort zone and sparking a conversation and asking, right? That's what philanthropy is about. You know, we have to ask or we don't get. And so it was just an opportunity for me to show, you know, like, hey, we can partner in this. There's something in it for you and there's something in it for us.
Love that.
Yeah, it's a great growth story because, you know, in so many jobs you get in and go, do I know what I'm doing? Everybody feels that at some point, right? And then you just keep growing and stepping forward. Go, yeah, I got this.
Yeah.
So Project C.U.R.E. headquarters are in Denver. The first warehouse was in Denver, but of course you also have warehouses in Chicago, Houston, Kansas City, Philadelphia, Nashville, and Phoenix. However, you could be anywhere on the planet and take part in work with Project C.U.R.E. You don't have to be a medical expert. How do you do that? How does someone go about it? Where would they learn more?
Yeah, of course. So to learn more about Project C.U.R.E. and contribute to the Kids for Kids, individuals can definitely visit our website. Very easy, projectcure.org. Explore the Kids for Kids page. You can explore the entire website to just find out more of what we do. We have a number of different programs. You can also find volunteer opportunities. We are always looking for volunteers, especially in our Kansas City location and in our Pennsylvania location. Those are newer locations. And so we're always, you know, what do you call it? Looking for volunteers, recruiting volunteers.
Sure.
You can also follow us on social media. We do update quite frequently. I think almost every day we're on there showing pictures, showing cargo containers being delivered, Kids for Kids events, cure kits going over overseas and those types of things. And anybody can play a vital role in improving global health and making a difference in the lives of children worldwide. Anybody can do it. And, we're really, our pillars, like I said, are donations and volunteers. And of course, money.
Yeah. So you can buy the life-saving, supplies.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just went to a conference last week in Kansas City, the InMed conference, and there's tons of missionaries that are going overseas. So it was a great opportunity for me to educate those folks on what they can bring. And I learned that there was the one and only clinic on Roatan that the island relies on burned down. Oh. And so we had a number of people that were interested in picking up the Kids for Kids and Kids for Kids, those two, but Cure Kits, because they really do have the ability to save lives. And so anybody going overseas can call me directly.
Yeah. All right.
Well, this is a great interview, and no wonder you're moving the Stiars, because you have such a phenomenal mission and you're making such a huge change in the world. So thank you so much, Meg, for joining us. We have Meg McCann here. She's with Project C.U.R.E. She does a phenomenal job. Look them up, volunteer, help them out, because not only are you helping them, you're helping them help so many others. So thanks so much, Meg.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Wow, she was great. The whole thing was a move the stairs moment, I think. So.
I know. I can't imagine the logistics involved with from A to Z. And by the way, when she said cargo containers, you had to just pause for a moment. That's like the size of a boxcar, a train car, right?
Exactly.
Those kinds of containers going to 135 different countries. There's a lot going on.
And how much do you think customers would get out of the fact that, or take from the fact that your company was working closely with an organization like Project C.U.R.E., maybe even giving the customers an opportunity to work with you to volunteer? That would be a phenomenal opportunity for customer loyalty. And I just think that would be really neat, really neat.
Yeah, a good a volunteer opportunity at one of the warehouses. Great team building for a company.
Exactly.
Right.
Right.
I think too, you think about all of the work, and I can't get out of my head an assembly line in one of the warehouses, and all of the volunteers have a specific job to do, right? It's somebody stuffing one thing into the cure kit, then it's on to the next. And, it's a really good opportunity to, tell your story through the media, because, as a former journalist, what do we think of? Those visuals. Yeah. How cool is that? I think of the visual of the aid finally getting into Gaza, the 35 pallets of cure kits on the move, ready to help people who are really in need for this. It's a great opportunity to leverage those and build those relationships with local media, so that, when something happens, they're calling you to say, hey, are you on top of this? And they say, yeah, we've already got 3, cargo containers on the way.
Or how about that picture of the Project C.U.R.E employees tearing up because they're so thrilled that finally that aid made it to the people that are so desperately need it. That man, that's a picture that says 1,000 words.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, thank you again for joining us today on Move the Stairs. We love to hear these Move the Stairs moments, and Meg really came through with her. So I'm so thrilled that we got to talk to Meg McCann from Project C.U.R.E. And I hope that you will join us again for our next Move the Stairs.